How fast food secretly destroyed Black America by Black Stories Untold. Now, this is an interesting one. I don't know much about this, but it will be interesting to see how fast food could do such a thing.
They told you fast food was about convenience. Quick meals for busy families. The American dream of efficiency and affordability. But what if I told you that behind those golden arches and secret recipes was something much darker? What if fast food wasn't just feeding America, it was systematically destroying Black America, one neighborhood at a time? Picture this. It's 1968. Dr. King has just been murdered. Over 100 cities are burning. When the smoke clears, something strange happens in Black neighborhoods across America. The grocery stores don't come back. The banks don't return. The insurance companies refuse to cover new businesses. But somehow, mysteriously, the fast food chains start moving in. Not immediately. They're smarter than that. They wait just long enough for people to get desperate. Then they arrive like saviors, offering cheap food and franchise opportunities to communities that had been abandoned by everyone else. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't market forces. This was a calculated takeover that would span decades and destroy generations. While white suburbs got fresh supermarkets and family restaurants, Black neighborhoods got drive-thrus and dollar menus. They called it urban development. They called it economic opportunity. But what it really was the creation of a new kind of segregation, one that didn't care where you sat, but controlled what you ate, how long you lived, and whose pockets your money filled. By the end of this video, you'll understand how fast food corporations helped build a system of economic control that makes the old Jim Crow look simple by comparison.
And
Let me
people
take
still wonder why the Black community is so behind of like everyone else. Like, listen, mate, we didn't have the same opportunities. Oh, about racist.
you back to April 4th, 1968. Martin Luther King Jr. is dead, and America is on fire. Detroit, Chicago, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., over 100 cities explode in rage and grief. When the National Guard finally leaves and the curfews are lifted, entire business districts in Black neighborhoods have been reduced to ash and rubble. But here's what they don't teach you in history class. Most of those businesses never came back. The insurance companies showed up with their clipboards and their calculations, took one look at the damage, and made a decision that would reshape Black America forever. They refused to pay out claims. They canceled policies. They redlined entire neighborhoods, declaring them too risky for coverage. Without insurance, banks wouldn't loan money for rebuilding. Without loans, there could be no new grocery stores, no pharmacies, no restaurants.
This is tragic, honestly. This is exactly ever since slavery, and even throughout after slavery was ended, Black people have constantly been trying to catch up, and lots of racism and BS to just keep holding us back. But regardless, we're still pushing forward.
The very businesses that had anchored these communities for generations were effectively banned from returning. Sarah Jackson owned a grocery store on 12th Street in Detroit before the uprising. 3 generations of her family had shopped there, worked there, built their lives around that corner store. After the fires, she applied for insurance to rebuild. The company told her the neighborhood was now classified as high risk. The premium would cost more than her entire annual revenue. Sarah Jackson never reopened her store. Neither did the Johnson family's restaurant down the street. Neither did the Williams Brothers pharmacy on the corner. Multiply Sarah's story by thousands, and you begin to understand what really happened in the aftermath of 1968. This wasn't just property damage. This was economic amputation. Entire food systems that had sustained Black communities were surgically removed, leaving behind empty lots and hungry people. And into this manufactured void, the fast food chains began to circle like vultures. But that's just the beginning of how they weaponized Black hunger for profit. If you want more hidden stories like this, subscribe to Black Stories Untold.
Stories Untold and me.
Now, back to how corporate America turned tragedy into opportunity. The first McDonald's in a Black neighborhood wasn't built in 1968. That would have been too obvious, too cruel even for them. No, they waited. They studied. They let the desperation marinate for a few years, while white families fled to the suburbs, taking their grocery stores and sit-down restaurants with them. By 1972, when the first golden arches went up in devastated Detroit, it looked like salvation. Herman Petty was one of the first black McDonald's franchise owners in the country. In 1972, McDonald's corporate approached him with what seemed like the opportunity of a lifetime. They would help him open a restaurant in his own community. They would provide training, marketing support, and the backing of America's fastest-growing restaurant chain. What they didn't tell Herman was that he was part of an experiment, a test to see if black franchise owners could be used to extract wealth from black communities more efficiently than white owners ever could. The numbers tell the story. Herman's McDonald's in Detroit generated over $2 million in revenue in its first 5 years. Sounds impressive, right? Here's what's not impressive. Herman's take-home profit averaged about $40,000 a year. Meanwhile, McDonald's corporate collected franchise fees, rent on the property they owned, forced purchases of equipment and supplies, and advertising fees. For every dollar that walked through Herman's door, about 85 cents walked right back out to corporate headquarters in white suburban Chicago. But even that wasn't the most insidious part. See, McDonald's had done their homework. They knew that black communities had higher rates of diabetes and heart disease even before fast food arrived. They knew that poverty meant people were looking for cheap calories, not healthy options. They knew that in neighborhoods without full-service grocery stores, fast food would become not just convenient, but necessary. They weren't just opening restaurants, they were creating dependency. The marketing strategy was surgical in its precision. McDonald's began pouring advertising dollars into black radio stations, black magazines, and black community events. They sponsored basketball tournaments in neighborhoods that had no grocery stores, but 3 fast food restaurants within a 2-block radius.
They're worming their way in, getting involved in the community, and then even the blood that's working hard to sustain the restaurant is barely making anything. It's crazy.
They hired black advertising executives who understood exactly how to make processed food feel like community, how to make corporate profits feel like black pride. By 1980, something unprecedented was happening in urban America. For the first time in human history, there were neighborhoods where it was easier to buy a Big Mac than an apple.
This feels so dystopian. KFC, Taco Bell, like it's just businesses. Like, damn, where's the nice scenery, bro?
Where children could walk to 5 different fast food restaurants, but couldn't find a single place to buy fresh vegetables. This wasn't happening by accident, and it wasn't happening in white neighborhoods. But what they did next would make this look like child's play. The 1980s was when fast food corporations stopped pretending they cared about nutrition and went full predator. They had spent a decade testing their strategies, and now they knew exactly what worked. The crack epidemic was devastating black communities, unemployment was skyrocketing, and Reagan was cutting food assistance programs. Families that were already struggling now faced even deeper poverty, and the fast food industry saw opportunity. KFC launched a marketing campaign specifically targeting what they called urban consumers. Internal documents from the era, obtained through later lawsuits, show they studied shopping patterns, family structures, and even welfare payment.
That chicken looks disgusting. Is it supposed to be an advert? You're not appealing me, mate. You're not making me wanna go in.
Schedules to maximize their marketing impact. They learned that many families received government assistance on the 1st and 15th of each month, so they timed their promotions accordingly. They weren't just selling food, they were designing a system to capture as much government assistance money as possible. Burger King took a different approach. They focused on children. Their marketing research showed that brand loyalty formed as early as age 3, and that children in single-parent households had more influence over family food decisions. So they flooded black neighborhoods with playgrounds, birthday party packages, and toys designed to create emotional connections between toddlers and burgers. They were literally programming the next generation to crave processed food. But McDonald's was the most ruthless of all. They pioneered what marketing experts now call cultural embedding. They didn't just advertise to black communities, they made themselves seem essential to black culture. They sponsored church events, community festivals, and school fundraisers. They hired black celebrities not just for commercials, but to become public advocates for the brand.
These guys are going in deep. You already know that the black community, especially in America, they love their church.
When a McDonald's opened in your neighborhood, they made it feel like a black business, even though every important decision was made by white executives in suburban boardrooms. The results were exactly what they had planned. By 1990, the average black family was spending nearly twice as much of their food budget on fast food as white families. Children in black neighborhoods consumed fast food an average of 3 times per week, compared to once per week for white children. And the health consequences were starting to show. Obesity rates in black communities began climbing faster than anywhere else in America. Type 2 diabetes, once rare in children, started appearing in black kids as young as 10 years old. Keep watching, because what comes next will blow your mind. The corporations had their hooks in, but they still faced one problem: competition from the few remaining black-owned restaurants and corner stores that had survived the economic devastation. These local businesses knew their customers personally, extended credit during hard times, and kept their profits circulating within the community.
They represented everything fast food chains were trying to destroy: local ownership, community connection, and economic self-determination. So the chains declared war. Not openly, of course. They called it market expansion. McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, and Taco Bell began a strategy of aggressive clustering. Whenever they identified a black-owned restaurant that was doing well, they would open a franchise directly across the street or next door. They could afford to operate at a loss for months or even years. Their suburban locations subsidized the losses. But a family-owned restaurant couldn't compete with a corporation willing to lose money just to drive them out of business. Take the case of Williams Family Restaurant in Baltimore. For 23 years, the Williams family had served their neighborhood soul food, hired local teenagers, and supported community events. In 1985, McDonald's opened directly across the street. Within 6 months, a KFC opened next door. The Williams family watched their customer base evaporate.
These guys are so greedy, bro. You're already a mega corporation. You're already bringing in so much money. Just fuck off, genuinely. Go somewhere else. You already make so much money. You can live without a bit of extra money in Williams area. Genuine hunger, greed, and it's just sick, bro. Let people have a livelihood. Shit is nasty.
People chose convenience and lower prices over community connection. Within 2 years, Williams Family Restaurant was forced to close. This pattern repeated in city after city, neighborhood after neighborhood. Local restaurants that had survived urban renewal, white flight, and economic disinvestment finally succumbed to corporate warfare. And with each closure, another piece of black economic independence died. But the fast food industry wasn't satisfied with just controlling where people ate. They wanted to control the entire food landscape. They began lobbying city councils to change zoning laws in their favor. They pushed for restrictions on street vendors and food trucks that might offer healthier options. They fought against proposals for new supermarkets, claiming the neighborhoods couldn't support both fast food and grocery stores. In Detroit, documents later revealed through Freedom of Information Act requests show that McDonald's corporate lawyers helped write zoning legislation that made it nearly impossible for full-service grocery stores to open in certain neighborhoods, while making fast food restaurant permits almost automatic. They weren't just opening restaurants, they were rewriting the laws to ensure they would never face real competition again. The most devastating part was how they weaponized.
People are genuinely sick. They're willing to let people die and get fat and sick so then they can sell their shitty burgers. And imagine you're walking in town, you can't even find a grocery store to get vegetables, to get nice clean food, raw meats, proper. You just have to farm McDonald's burgers all day. He's genuinely sick.
Black entrepreneurship against black communities. The franchise system was designed to look like black ownership while maintaining white control. Black franchise owners took all the financial risk, worked 80-hour weeks, and faced community backlash when people realized how unhealthy the food was. Meanwhile, corporate executives collected guaranteed profits and maintained plausible deniability. If anyone complained about fast food destroying Black health, they could point to Black franchise owners and claim it was Black-owned business. And this is where everything connects. By 1995, the transformation was complete. Neighborhoods that had once sustained themselves with locally owned grocery stores, restaurants, and markets now depended entirely on corporations headquartered in white suburbs. Money that had once circulated within Black communities, supporting Black jobs, Black entrepreneurs, and Black wealth building, now flowed out every single day to shareholders who had never set foot in these neighborhoods. The health consequences were exactly what any rational person would have predicted, and exactly what corporate executives had to have known would happen. Obesity rates in Black communities doubled between 1980 and 2000. Diabetes rates tripled. Heart disease, stroke, and hypertension all skyrocketed. Emergency rooms in Black neighborhoods began seeing children with diet-related diseases that had previously only affected adults. But here's the most insidious part. When Black communities started dying from diet-related diseases at unprecedented rates, the same corporations that had created the problem positioned themselves as the solution. They introduced healthier options like salads and apple slices while keeping their core menu exactly the same. They funded studies on childhood obesity that somehow never mentioned the role of fast food marketing. They donated money to Black health organizations, ensuring that criticism would be muted. This wasn't just business, this was systematic extraction. Fast food corporations had figured out how to turn Black poverty into white wealth, Black hunger into corporate profits, and Black death into shareholder dividends. They had created a system more efficient than slavery at extracting value from Black bodies. Slaveholders at least had to keep their property alive and healthy. Fast food corporations could work their consumers to death and simply find new ones. The numbers are staggering when you see them all together. Between 1970 and 2000, an estimated $400 billion flowed out of Black communities and into fast food corporate coffers. That's money that could have built Black-owned grocery stores, funded Black restaurants, supported Black farmers, and created generational wealth for Black families. Instead, it built mansions in white suburbs for executives who viewed Black customers as nothing more than profit centers. And the most tragic part? It worked so well that other industries started copying the model. Payday loan companies, rent-to-own furniture stores, and predatory cell phone companies all studied what fast food had done and applied the same strategies. Create dependency, extract wealth, blame the victims. This is why fast food became the new Jim Crow. The old system required signs and laws to maintain segregation. The new system uses zoning laws, marketing budgets, and franchise agreements. The old system was obviously racist and eventually faced resistance. The new system hides behind Black faces and claims to be providing opportunity. The old system lasted about 90 years. The new system has been running for over 50 years and shows no signs of stopping. Today, a Black child born in urban America can expect to live 7 years less than a white child born in the suburbs. Much of that difference comes down to diet-related diseases that barely existed in Black communities before fast food corporations targeted them for systematic exploitation. Every day, about 300 Black Americans die from preventable diet-related illnesses. That's a 9/11 every 10 days, caused by a food system designed to prioritize corporate profits over human life. But Black communities are fighting back. Food justice activists are creating urban farms, cooperative grocery stores, and community kitchens. They're demanding that cities limit fast food density and require corporations to pay living wages. They're teaching children to grow their own food and cook their own meals. They're rebuilding the food sovereignty that was stolen from their grandparents.
I'm telling you guys, throughout history, they're always trying to condemn us, always trying to push us back, but we'll always prevail and we'll always show them the business. Come on, let's go.
The corporations are scared. They're spending millions on lobbying and public relations to maintain their stranglehold on Black neighborhoods. They know that if Black communities break free from their control, the entire system of extraction collapses. That's why they fight so hard against every urban farm, every cooperative grocery store, every effort to rebuild local food systems. The story of how fast food destroyed Black America isn't over. It's being written right now. In every neighborhood where people are choosing community over convenience, health over habit, and liberation over corporate control, the question is, which side of that story will you be on? If you want more stories about
we
how
have to be on the community side. Fuck all the mega corporations and the McDonald's and KFC. Even though I do enjoy a bit of KFC here and there, but they will not destroy the black community. We will rise and destroy all of them, and see the community come together, making people's lives better. It's just nice to see some justice in the world to push back on these evil corporations. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and all that good stuff.